In this programming session, I'm going to continue on webdevladder.net, the website for this channel, and I'm going to add not just a few new VODs, I'm also going to do two more things. I'm going to add playlist support in a very basic sense for the data, where on this website, I list all of my VODs and other videos. I'm going to add basically just playlists. I'm also going to add a tiny little tool where I can paste in or type in the duration of a video, and it's going to calculate for me that duration in milliseconds, which I then use elsewhere in the app in the data for each video. This is just going to be a tiny little tool. Things like this are kind of fun to make, so let's go ahead and jump in. So the first thing I'll do is go over to webdevladder.net, which is over here, which is just a GitHub repo. By the way, I'm starting out with these VODs just last week. I'm trying a new thing today with green shirt. Please let me know if it's distracting. You can always leave comments on the YouTube videos or over in Discord. So I'm also going to change my scaling. I just realized I should probably do this right now. So I'm going to go to my display settings and let's see here. I'm pretty sure 200% scale. So I think this is going to be, yeah, we'll see how this works. This way means I won't have to zoom in quite so much manually, and my cursor should be a lot bigger, as well as some of the UI elements should be a lot bigger. I only scaled one of my screens, but sure, like, okay, we'll see if it works. I might want to zoom in a little bit more. That looks okay. So I'll be bouncing between two different screens like this. Hopefully it's not too distracting. If I'm going to try to kind of play with different screen setups, but this is just what we're going with right now. All right, so webdevladder.net, let's just take a look at what we have. So at this website, we have our logo. I'm going to zoom out because we don't need to be zoomed in. So this is basically just like a little bit of info about the page. We also have a blog, which if you look at other VODs, we added Mastodon comments to this blog in some other VODs for both Fuzz blog and also Fuzz Mastodon is the library that powers that. So back at the homepage, we have videos. So my plan for the homepage webdevladder.net is to just have a very long list of videos with some links. So you can go like basically with tags probably as well down the road. And, but we're going to start with playlists, some basic organization. As you can see right now, I have Web Dev Ladder VODs. We can open up that channel link. And you'll notice I'm actually a little bit behind. I need to zoom out again. We're a little bit behind. So in other words, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 9 different VODs, but only 7 here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start copying this info from my latest 2. You can see creating my channel's blog and adding Mastodon comments was my latest one that I actually captured. So I'm going to open up these 2 and I'm going to hop over to my GitHub repo over here. So this is my Git repo, not GitHub. And I'm going to open up my feed data. So that is over here in video data. So I'm going to just close everything else. And we've got basically 2 more of these to go. So I'm going to add basically just copy paste 2. I'm going to copy this link, which is adding features to my blog. So I'm going to paste this link in. I'm also going to paste this link in over here. And we'll also paste in the titles of each one of these. So programming automatic Mastodon comments into my SvelteKit blog library was a fun one I did earlier today. And another one I said I'm just adding a bunch of features to my blog software, which was the start of the day. So what I'm going to do is I basically have, if we look here, we have a duration. So I should be able to like copy this duration, paste it into a tool, and get the duration in milliseconds out of that tool. So it's just like a little shortcut that I want to have available because I'll be doing that quite often. And so why not just build a tiny little SvelteKit or Svelte tool that I can just paste in a string like this and get what I need out of it, which is just milliseconds. The idea behind storing milliseconds versus other things, so like this right here, if we translate 4625 into milliseconds, we're going to end up with this. And the way we do that, I'm just going to open the console here. So 4625 is our string, right? So that's going to be 60 seconds in a minute times 60 minutes times 1000 milliseconds plus 25, and actually I did that 60 seconds in a minute. So that would be hours, plus 25 seconds times 1,000 milliseconds. So this right here, this 2,785,000 is this same value right here. And actually I had 278,500, 278,400. Did I just like type in something wrong? Yeah, I said 25. I said it's actually 24 if you go look at the actual video. Well, it might have. Did you see that? YouTube changed on me. Watch this. Watch this. It says it's 4625, right? I click into it.
In this programming session,
for a moment, it showed 4625, but then so I'm not the crazy one, YouTube.
In this programming session,
it changed on me. You can go watch the video back if you don't believe me. That's fine. A millisecond or a second off 1,000 sounds like 1,000 milliseconds is a lot. It's not. It's no big deal. So what we're going to do is basically have our little tool where I can just paste in these strings and then just kind of copy over those values. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a new route called tools. And I haven't really thought this through other than I know I want a route called tools. So inside of that, I'm going to add a page component. And inside of this, I'm going to add let's go ahead and add, whoops, I need to do lang equals TS. I'm going to add a tool called duration or time to, whoops, I'm not typing out the right thing. Time to MS is just going to be the name of this component. So we will go ahead and see what time to MS needs. So it's going to be an input, which is type text, it's going to be type text. We actually don't need to have the type. We can say bind value equals, let's say string str. So let str equals, and that's going to be state and start with the empty string. And so we're going to bind value to that. And then the, whoops, I need to turn off my phone. Sorry about that. All right, I don't edit these videos, so little hiccups like that are no problem. This is more for kind of long, not respecting your time. Just watch me do the actual thing in real time with no edits. You're going to see my raw programming. So I don't get to pretend like everything's super polished and always correct. I struggle all the time. So you'll get to see the real struggle, including amateur mistakes like not silencing my phone. Sorry, enough of a tangent on that. So the idea here is that we just want to have like a derived value that we will, so we have this input, right, that takes in text. We want to output like basically some like milliseconds, right? So ms, we'll just say milliseconds equals derived, and that's going to be to, we'll just say like parse ms. And actually, let's do like this. We'll actually put in like time. Yeah, I'm trying to think like an intermediate data structure, right? So we could have like this interface or type rather, it's going to be like time. Yeah, which is like hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. And the idea there is that parse time can take in our string, and that's going to be, and then we want to say like time to ms, and that's going to take in our parse time data structure. So we'll have this parse time, and I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. I'm trying to like keep it kind of, is time, let's just see something really fast. Is time actually a built-in? It's not, right? Is that a built-in type? Type A equals time. Yeah, where's this coming from? Do I need to restart my Svelte compiler or type checker? Let's see. I'm going to import, you can go ahead and come over here, import time to ms while I let my tools kind of chill. This is actually going to be $routes, so Copilot gets a lot of stuff wrong, but you know, sometimes overall I enjoy it. So tools, we're just going to put this down. Probably not going to have any options. Probably don't need any options. I'm just going to have, so time is not a built-in type. It was like just TypeScript was just behind. So, and that was Svelte check, which was, I think, doing that work. All right, so the idea here is we have this interface, It's going to take hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. We're going to parse this, and this is like totally not the correct thing. We're going to actually need a much more sophisticated regular expression for this. So we'll do this. We'll do time matcher equals. And then the idea here, oh, what it tried to do something. Yeah, so it's actually going to be optional. So some of these things. So I'm going to start myself and say the first one is going to be, actually, let's just see what it's doing. I'm kind of curious. So CodePilot's suggesting we do a digit, either 1 or 2 numbers. And then these digits, yeah, that's like kind of correct. So actually I'm going to go in and just kind of edit this down. So this is actually going to be 0 or more of these. And so, yeah, the question is like the capture groups. This is a little bit beyond what I normally do with regular expressions. So these are all going to be optional basically. And so you should just be able to put in a seconds value. We're actually not going to support milliseconds. So, and this is, yeah, we're not going to support milliseconds. Don't care about that. So the idea then is this time matcher. I'll just like play with this in the browser to get it right. And then I'll kind of just copy paste it in. So rather than, or we could go to node even, right? So we can go to node. We could say m equals this regular expression. Oops. And basically say like m dot exec on like 1:12. So I'm expecting here to see, you know, we have 1:, so you have the first capture group is going to be that 1:, and that's optional, right? We want to make sure that's optional. The second capture group, that's going to be basically hours. And actually, let's think, how can we distinguish? It's by making minutes required. So minutes is actually going to be a required group. Basically, we're just going to do it where hours is optional. So I'm going to re-up this thing. So we're going to say m equals this regular expression. We're going to say m.exec to that. So the first capture group, you can see it's undefined. The first 2 capture groups are undefined. Then we have 1 and 12. So then let's do one with hours. So we have like 1, 2, 3. And so that you can see it kind of limited us to the number of digits. I'm going to just say any number of them. For here, this can be, let's see, any number of seconds. Yeah, up to 2 digits. So that was roughly correct. I think that's fine. But there can be any number of hours. Can't be any number of minutes. We're going to say that we're just going to go to the YouTube time sort of like structure. So we don't need milliseconds in there. So it's just going to be, and actually we could like support stuff in the future, but we're just going to do something really simple. So this is just going to be, I'm just going to write down like this component takes in a YouTube compatible or YouTube formatted timestamp and outputs milliseconds. So the basic idea is that we might want to rename some of this. We might call it YouTube time string or something. Sure, let's just go there. YouTube time string. Actually, YouTube time. That's fine. Timestamp. No, it's not a timestamp. It's just time. Timestamp's the wrong word. I'm just going to, yeah, let's just do this. I'm just going to say YouTube time matcher, because that's where like it's more specific. This isn't just matching any time. This is really pretty specific to what we're doing here. So we don't need to match milliseconds. And this like total thing is like wrong. We will map it, but we're going to say, yeah, string.match, sure. We will go ahead and just test our regular expression once again. So we'll say, whoops, m equals this, and then we'll say m.exec on that. So see, we have now our capture group is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 1, and then 12. So it looks like we're good. If we remove that it's the same. If we keep the colon, probably don't need to worry about the colon because that's like not how they're formatted. So we're just going to go the happy path. And you see how it like slices off 2. We actually just need to slice off 1. The way we could do that actually is just not, we could discard the first one. And this, we can discard the second one as well. Okay. So we'll discard the first 2. So this is going to be, yeah, actually, yeah, I see why it's sliced off 2. That's just more convenient. So we'll have then the match, and then we map it to number, which should be fine. That should just kind of give us the right thing, and it correctly infers that we're matching over to numbers. So use regex. It's just a thing that I guess I'm using. We're going to regex.exec. It's just one of the linting rules that I'm not sure I should be using, but that's what I'm going to go in with. Yeah. So I see. So it actually, why do I even have that rule enabled, right? Like, why not use exec? Let's just see. I'm curious. Why did I, what is the point here? Keeping it consistent helps readability. It can be, this is the reason to choose it as the preferred usage. So exec can be faster. Sure. Okay. We'll go with exec being faster. We're actually going to assert that this is a, interesting. So that's saying it doesn't change the type. So this is like a TypeScript ESLint bug. Let's just restart our ESLint server and make sure that it's actually thinking that that's actually a bug. Okay, it looks like that bug went away when we did this. Okay, so the idea here there is that we convert time to milliseconds next, right? So we converted it into this YouTube time, and now we want to say time, and we'll say YouTube time to milliseconds, YouTube time to milliseconds, and that's going to be basically just return. Can you infer it? Looks like you can. Good job, Copilot. I think seconds times, yeah, it kind of even did like a little, I'm going to make it a one-liner there. So it has the implicit return. So it's hours times 60 plus minutes times 60 plus seconds times all times 1000. And that gives us milliseconds. So basically we're just going to like print out our milliseconds now. So we're just going to put it in a part of the label for it. And this will say YouTube time. So I have like a little helper called title where I have YouTube time. And then over here, we'll have the output. So milliseconds, so this is going to be milliseconds, colon, and then ms. All right, so let's go take a look at what we got. This might or might not work. We'll see. We'll check some of our work. It's easy to test. So over to localhost, I'm going to zoom to the correct amount. Okay, this is, so I basically doubled the screen size, so I'm going to just kind of undo my doubling or my zooming everywhere else. So basically we don't have a tools link anywhere. So what I'm going to do is put a tools link somewhere. Now, where's a good place for tools links? Maybe right near the bottom here above the footer. I think I kind of like that. We could also just put it next to about, but I think I'll put it above that because I think that will look a little bit better for now, at least. So we'll put a new section actually, and then we'll just call this tools. And I'm sure I'll think of other tools to build, but basically this is just like a fun little way to get some tools going. We're going to put the chip class on that so it kind of looks like a thing. And then we can make it slightly bigger, let's say size XL. See how, yeah, so tools. It's not huge, but it's bigger. You can click it, takes you to tools. Okay. So now I need to zoom out again. It's saying can't read slice. So the idea here is that it just can't, I shouldn't have used the exclamation mark there. And so now we can't just like do like a one-liner. So what we'll do here is say, we'll say matches. So const matches equals this, and then we'll actually slice and map afterwards. If there's no matches, we just return null. So it's actually, this is going to be nullable because yeah, we might not actually have a valid U2 time. So what we'll do here then is this is going to be a derived by function, or actually YouTube time in milliseconds. That probably should not take a nullable value. So we'll do derived.by, which allows us to pass a callback function very handily over to our derived function. We'll return that and say time if, yeah, const time equals this, right? And then if there's no time, we return null. Otherwise, we return that. So now our milliseconds may be null, which is fine. So we'll do like this, or null is our, actually, if ms is not equal to null, then we'll render milliseconds, just like slightly cleaner to use the if statement in Svelte rather than a string, because we might want to have other markup there in the future. Just a thing that I tend to do. And we'll just say null, like that. So if we refresh the page, you can see milliseconds is null. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of formatting around this. So we're going to say, actually, I think we need a main block because we're on a page. And then we'll say class is width MD to max out the width, and then center everything for now. Okay. So now we can click this. It goes into our thing. We can type in like 1:12, right? And it's saying not a number. So obviously we're parsing something slightly wrong. We didn't actually slice off. Oh, we did. So let's see. What are we doing incorrectly here? We are possibly, let's just log out our hours, minutes, seconds here. And the idea is like pretty straightforward. Yeah, so hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, so yeah, hours is not a number. So the idea here, there, is that we have not a number instead of 0, right? So very simply, if we can just basically say hours or 0. So if it's null, or if it's falsy, we'll just convert it to 0, which is fine. Like that will cover all of our cases. So now if we do the same thing, we can say like 12 to 1, 2, 3. And notice I'm putting in minutes to a larger than 60, and we previously we're not actually letting that parse. We actually might want to. I might want to just type in 113, even though it says YouTube time. That's not how YouTube formats. I see no reason to not do that because we're making the hours optional. We're making the minutes required, right? And we could make, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think like in terms of optionality. If we make both of them optional, we'll have a problem because I think it will match the hours first. So trying to think then. Seconds, we definitely want to limit to, well, yeah, I think we'll just go with it for now, with maybe leave a note to improve for, basically just parse this more intelligently. I could do a much simpler way of parsing that doesn't use regex very simply. Basically just like you split on the colon, and then based on the number of values, you just kind of start at, that it goes milliseconds, seconds, hours, or minutes, seconds, minutes, hours. And if you don't have a value, you just kind of stop. So I think I actually kind of like that better. It also would allow us to support milliseconds with the dot. But again, we're just kind of working around YouTube's limitations right now. So I probably won't go that hard. I'm trying to think then, do I want to support? Yeah, so like, I think what we want to do, let's add some documentation. So this can be, we're going to add a paragraph right here. I'm curious, we can add like a class equals panel and padded, just a little bit of like, yeah, so this kind of gives us the value here, right? So if we just type in like a number, should that just be seconds, right? And should we actually display the parsed time? I think that's what I want. So actually, we might not need this derived by. I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say we're going to say const parsed time equals this. And so it's derived by the string. So every time the string changes, we will derive it and have this value that may be nullable, right? So this may be null, which means, oh, I see it's blocked, it's block scoped. So I'll just need to probably pull these out into some helpers, but this is fine for now. Don't need to worry about it. Parsed time is going to be, so yeah, derived, we're just going to remove this derived by. Actually, we can say like, hey, is there parsed time? Is there one? And actually we can say nullish coalescing. No, that's not right. We want to say if there's parsed time, we'll do that. Otherwise it's null. Okay. So no more derived by, simple derives, super simple. We have this constant milliseconds now, and this needs to be pulled up here, and this type as well. So all this stuff could be extracted to a YouTube time. Yeah, we could do like time helpers or time. Let's just do that. So time.ts. We'll just extract all of this code over to time.ts, which is like not like this isn't really time, but like it's fine. Just going to export everything here. Actually, I'm not going to export the matcher because that's implementation detail that's likely going to change. So we can go ahead and have the rest of this. We do need to restart ESLint, and we will import parse time and YouTube time to milliseconds from here. We don't need to import the type, so we'll just do routes. I always use absolute imports just for preference. It makes it a lot easier to move things around and also just visibly see what I'm working with. There's some indication or sometimes where I don't use the absolute imports, but that's pretty rare. Like if you have a truly self-contained set of modules, I might use relative imports because it's kind of an implementation detail where they're located. But typically this thing might get moved around like over to the lib or something that I'm going to keep it where it is. And named using, imported using absolute imports. Otherwise, if I move it in the future, it would change it to some really crazy relative import in other modules. So it's just kind of future-proofing my code more because I expect that to move as well. So we have this very simple time module. It takes in YouTube time. We can go ahead and add milliseconds back actually. So we'll add that back, and we're actually, and this is more like a, instead of time, I mean, it's a strange way to put it. Parse time, oops, I need to go to, I usually keep myself on case sensitive searching here. I'm just gonna do time to milliseconds. It's not the best. There's other ways to think about time. This is fine. Milliseconds we'll say is, we will actually parse out milliseconds. So we're not gonna use the regular expression. In fact, I'm gonna say parts is going to be string.split on the colon, and we will actually map these values to and trim them. Yeah, I knew what I was trying to go for. So this will just remove all white space. We're splitting on any colons, and then also milliseconds. And actually, we're going to need to split the first one if there, yeah. So we always start with seconds, but we also want to have milliseconds. If you have a dot, then we'll have milliseconds. So if, and then we can actually here, we can say this is seconds, minutes, hours. And the idea there is that we mapped it, trimmed it. We split on colon, we trimmed every element. Then we say const, and we'll actually do this. We'll do seconds and seconds string, or raw, seconds raw seconds. Actually, we'll do seconds with milliseconds. This is gonna be that. And then seconds, we're gonna say milliseconds. Let me try to think about this. I'm trying to be very clever with like dense code, but the idea is like you might split it. If it includes a period, you'll split on it, but then you can't destructure that. So seconds with milliseconds, splitting on dot would actually keep, yeah, I'm not going to be clever. So I'm going to say let seconds and milliseconds will be like this. And then we'll just say if seconds, yeah, it actually knew what I was going for. If it includes a dot, we'll actually split on the dot and parse int. So actually, we don't want to parse int here. Actually, can we? No, we want to convert that to a number. But, and actually, is this going to be fine then? Because it's going to be decimals. So actually, I think it works. But no, we want to keep seconds with milliseconds as a string. So hours, we actually want to do change this to str. We want to change minutes to str, and we want to change hours to str. Then we will just kind of do the very sort of verbose thing, and so we don't need that anymore. We'll just say const hours is parse int, and actually parse int always needs that base 10, but like that. And actually, do we want to just convert it to a number? Parse, like parse float also works, like parse float for seconds. No, we probably want integers. We'll just work with integers. Yeah, we'll work with integers. So the basic idea is that seconds and milliseconds, if you split on the dot and then parse, then you'll have, is that, yeah, seconds. Oh, I could have been clever now that I think about it. Because seconds will be first if you split on the dot, right? So we can do that. Basically, const seconds milliseconds equals. So I was wrong. I wasn't thinking. We'll split on the dot, and then we will set the default to 0. And then seconds is going to be parsed into a number at that point. So as will milliseconds. So I think this is all looking good. We can say minutes string is parsed out as well. I think we're looking good. If not, we'll fix it. And then we have basically just like a much simpler way of doing this. This is going to be, we'll just do the simple thing and say like or 0. It's not like the cleanest, but if parsing fails for whatever reason, we'll just go to 0. So you might fail to parse on undefined. What happens if you call parse int on undefined? Actually, node parse int on undefined. Yeah, it's not a number, so that's good. So basically, just like if it looks bad, just go to 0. I could have like done a more complicated ternary or whatever or check, but this is fine. So milliseconds then becomes, I believe this will work correctly. So we'll go ahead and see. I'm actually going to then print out here in a, let's see, let's do a code block. Let's get fancy with it. And then we can say like content equals and then some string, and then language is actually going to be TypeScript. So we'll say const time equals, and then we'll say stringify. So we're going to do json.stringify the parsed time, and then give it some indentation. So I might want to change this, but yeah, let's just be a little bit weird with it, or fully featureful here. So I'm going to import. I don't think I have code imported in this project yet, which means I need to, yeah, should I even do this? This is overkill. I'd say let's do it. Yeah, it's okay. So import code from, it means like a little bit more maintenance. Fuzz_code has code.svelte. And then really quickly, I need to hop over to a different project that uses this. So one of them would be like fuzz, or let's just go to like, yeah, fuzz Mastodon definitely has syntax highlighting. Again, I need to like zoom out. And then we will copy over from our vite config, just copy over our vite config. So now we have a slightly more, we have like this new dependency coming in, and I forgot to move this over. Apologies for that if my head's in the way. npm I -d at ryanatican /fuzz code, and that's going to be a dev dependency. And so now I think I need to do one more thing. I think this is like a weird Prism.js. I'm going to add this to do as well. I'm not sure what's going on, but Vite. And I tried a bunch of config settings, but I need to like import Prism.js, even though code already imports Prism.js. It has something to do with Vite in dev mode only. It doesn't do this in prod, but I tried everything I could with externals, internals, or externals and no external, both. I tried every variation I could think of and couldn't get it working. So not sure what's going on there. I couldn't also search for the problem. It has to do with like transitive dependencies into Prism.js. It's probably something to do with Prism.js, how it's kind of doing globals or whatever common JS weirdness. I don't know. Not a big deal, but I do want to fix this. So it can't find it. So I'm going to just restart our Svelte type checker, and I bet it does find it, which looks like so. And then basically my content here is I'm going to stringify this value. So it might just be null. Okay. And you can see, I'm going to refresh my page. Prism's not defined. Do I need to import it? Well, where am I? I'm in Fuzz Mastodon. I need to see about, does it need to go above? It might need to go above. Maybe that's what it was. I didn't copy paste it exactly. Yeah, so I just needed to put the Prism.js above the code, even though if you look at this file, I can't look at it exactly right there. If we look at this file, you'll see fuzz code is actually importing Prism.js right here at the top. So not sure what's going on there. It's not that, is it? It's not just like an enter, like the enter key. There's no way, right? That's not it. I'm in Fuzz Mastodon though. I did not mean to change that. Let's go close you, back to WebDev Ladder, over to code here. So Ryanatican, I'm just gonna see if this is what it is. That would be a good little find. Basically is like Vite or somebody getting confused, some tool getting confused because is it because it's not, yeah, no, I don't know. Because like this is basically the exact same thing that I'm doing here. So I would expect this to just work. I'm gonna refresh, clean, SvelteKit, rerun my server, and then close you. It works right now. Wait, I say that. It says it can't, only on initialization. It works now. I just needed a hard refresh. Happens sometimes with Vite. Yeah, and now it's saying Prism's not defined. So you saw it, should be working. It's not, whatever. We'll deal with it another time. So you can see now time is being parsed strangely. So basically, time we could say is always, we probably do want to say if it fails to parse. So in other words, if all of these values are, which we have zeros for everything except seconds is null. If we probably don't want to just like OR to 0, we probably want to actually do this. We probably want to say if, and then milliseconds defaulting to 0 is also a problem. So what we'll say if everything is not a number, we'll return null. Hey, good job. And actually, we'll just go ahead and use the number.isnan, which is the more modern, more safe form to do that with. Okay, so hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds doesn't coerce either. Isnan is just kind of a legacy function you shouldn't be using, as far as I understand. We're parsing integers. We only want to return null if all of them are not a number. However, it's more like if seconds and milliseconds are. Right, if we can't even get seconds, so we actually don't need to check the others. If we can't get seconds or milliseconds. Now, if we can't get seconds, right? If we can't get seconds, then, and we're actually going to change all of these here. So I'm going to do this. Each one of these actually needs to be this or 0. and maybe not seconds. Basically, like, are we saying that we're going to force you to have at least seconds, right? I guess, it's like, or it's going to handle 0 is the problem. So yeah, I'm a little bit curious about what I should be doing here, because like I don't want to be like, the right answer is just check nan. It's just so verbose, but maybe that's just right, rather than oring it to 0. Yeah, because this will catch some corner cases. So if number.isNan for these, we do 0, otherwise it's that. Okay, so I think it's a little bit more verbose. And then we say if seconds and, I said, did Copilot give me or? I think just going back a little bit. Yeah, give me or. I actually meant and. So Copilot kind of confused me there. I wouldn't have made that mistake if I was writing it out myself, I'm almost certain. So gotta watch that Copilot rather than just kind of flying with it. Yeah, so it needs to be and. If seconds is 0, so but like that lets you have like point, 0, like 0.1 would be like 100 milliseconds, right? So let's go ahead and just like see this in action. I think this is right. So if I say 0.1, that gives us 1 millisecond. So actually, this needs to be .2 fixed. So it's actually times 1,000. So milliseconds string is going to be that. Const milliseconds is going to be, wait, what am I doing? Times, no, that's not a string actually. Maybe milliseconds. Let's just call it maybe milliseconds. Maybe milliseconds. Actually, let's, instead of milliseconds, let's just call it ms. Is that all right? Yeah. Seconds, that's fine. I like that better. Maybe ms. And then actual ms is going to be, if maybe ms, it's going to be number.isNan. If it's not a number, it's going to be 0. Otherwise, it's going to be maybe milliseconds times 1,000, right? Or is it, maybe it's times 100. Whoa. No, it's 2 fixed. Okay, I'm getting a little bit confused. The millisecond string needs to have like preceding. No, I guess we can, yeah, because like if you want to make it 2 fixed, so it's actually, we split it. So we'll do ms string first, and then ms string, because if it's like 0.1, right? That's like 0.1 of 1,000. So that's 1/10 of a second, which would be 100 milliseconds. So you want to like do like milliseconds part. Let's do this. This is a little bit convoluted, but we're going to add 2 fixed ms part, or parsed. No, let's do ms part. And then we want to say like ms string is going to be ms part. Yeah, pad start up to 3. It's pad end. And actually that's already, no, so hold on. It's parsing this integer. So maybe we just split it. We're doing too much at once. We're getting confused. So this is the second string. That means seconds is going to be easy. So seconds equals parseInt second string base 10. Okay, millisecond string is going to be, and we might just change this to milliseconds, or unless it could be not a number. Yeah, it could be not a number. So if we'll say toString, but it might be undefined. So we'll say question mark we'll just say equals null. So question mark to string pad end up to 3 zeros, right? And then we want to say milliseconds is going to be, hey, if it's null, if ms string is equal null, actually we can do like that, then it's 0, otherwise it's parse int. However, this is still could be what am I trying to say? Yeah, so actually we'll do the isNaN. So we'll parse this as int, because parse int won't fail on null. Okay, so base 10. Say maybe milliseconds, and then milliseconds is going to be number.isNaN on maybe milliseconds, then it's 0. Yep. Okay. So parse int, the type says takes a string. So we'll just say like if millisecond part is null, then it's not a number. Otherwise, we parse it like this, and we don't need to toString it. Okay. A little bit convoluted, a little bit hard to parse. Definitely better than doing the regular expression, in my opinion, because we would still have to do a lot of coercion after the fact, because we're only getting back strings. So don't know if this actually works, but we'll just go test a bunch of cases, and like once it's done, it's done. This is pretty simple stuff. In reality, it's just very detailed, as you can see. Like this is very specific, this behavior, to get what I actually want here. So I'm going to refresh the page. We're going to say 0.1, and there we go. You see how it says 100 milliseconds? So if I say 11111, now that's a problem. So actually, we want to milliseconds. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think if you have like extra milliseconds there, because the way that notation works is you have 0.999, and that actually means 999 milliseconds. So I guess it's open for an open question. I'm kind of like overthinking it, I think, but it's just an interesting question to me. Like, is this milliseconds correct? Like, which actually do I want? Like, if I put in more than a second, right? Should it be like 0.0 at this point, right? I don't know. You can see 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. Let's do 300 seconds. So that's cool. Now, notice it didn't normalize. So that's another thing we could potentially do. So in other words, if it overflows seconds, it would go to milliseconds. But actually, this representation is not like a absolute time that's like normalized. So actually, we're fine with that. And then we'll say like 1:. So now we have, looks like I reversed some stuff, right? So 300 is actually the minutes. So definitely screwed that up. I got this backwards, or if I did it or Copilot did it, I don't remember at this point. Super simple fix. Basically, I just reversed my hours and minutes. It doesn't like something. It doesn't. So it's saying it cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, so my seconds. Oh, wait. I'm splitting. Oh, okay. So it's actually reversed. So I do want to split. Did I not reverse it? Hold on. Sorry. I think I'm getting confused. I'm like thinking left and right to left at the same time, and I'm getting confused. So the idea is that we're splitting on colon. I think we're actually going to have to walk backwards on that. And this is where a regular expression probably would be okay, but like we're already going this direction. I'm just going to keep going this direction. The idea is that like splitting on the colon needs to, like, I need to destructure. Destructuring doesn't quite work, so I actually need to do that backwards. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say split is, or say parts, and then we're going to declare these values. And then we'll say for let I equals, I is less than 3, I plus plus. So we have up to 3 parts, right? No Copilot, that's not quite right. So if I wait, do I need to do that? I don't think I need a loop, do I? So if parts.length is greater than or equal to 1, well, okay, I see. Actually, wait, maybe Copilot was going on the right track. So basically, like the idea is like if parts length could be at minimum, we're just going to ignore any more than 3. So we'll just ignore more than 3. But we need to work from right to left. So actually, we'll just reverse it. I probably should have thought of this. Yeah, just reverse it. And then I think we can actually just destructure it then. So I think this is what I meant to do originally in terms of the actual logic. And then we don't need any sort of crazy stuff. So we're splitting on the colon, we're trimming all the parts, and then we're just reversing it, right? So this is the right to left now. That the string is left to right, if you can think about that. So hours being over the right here, it actually starts on the left in the other form. And we don't care about, I think that's it. I think let's just go look at our code. So if I go back to here, I can put in 0.01, and that's 12 milliseconds. That's what I would expect. I can put 99, that's that. 2 seconds, right? I can do 60 seconds, do 61 seconds, it's fine. Then I'll do 1 colon. Now we're up to minutes. So now we have our minutes correct, and now we can probably just do hours correctly as well. So now we're basically done. I think like this was the parsing that I wanted to do. I say done. We're done with this part. I don't think I want to care about the milliseconds being weird. I like the idea that you could like put in like point blah, 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 and you get like full milliseconds. I don't like though, actually is that right? So 1, 2, 3, can I put like 0, 0? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Basically, like if you just mistype something here, you're just going to get more milliseconds, which allows you to put in a very large milliseconds value and get a valid time value out of it. So I think that's pretty cool. I also wanted to get syntax highlighting. That was the whole point of having code over here. Language is TypeScript. I'm curious why we don't have our syntax. Oh, one last thing I forgot with the syntax highlighting. I need to import the Prism style sheet in our main layout. Actually, I don't need to do it here, do I? I could actually do it on our tools page. Yeah, it's such a small little style sheet. This will allow us to have it everywhere. So we'll do fuzz_code and then theme. No, that's not right. It's prism.css. Okay. Now we have syntax highlighting. Yay. All right. So the basic idea then is we can now use this. I'm going to add some, let's see, I'll add some margin around it. Yeah, margin Y, LG. Actually, I'll do small. Keep it kind of tight. So time conversion. I'll just say time conversion. So it's no longer YouTube time conversion. Time converter. Time, yeah, I'll call this time converter. Time converter. Okay. Time converter. All right. So basically we have a time converter. So I should be able to, it just kind of works, right? I think there's one last thing I could do. A couple little style, like a tiny little styling tweak. In here, I could put in the div, so milliseconds, and actually make that small. And then make it actually really small underneath. I think I like the idea of it being underneath on its own, on its own block. So that allows us to double click here. We can also add a copy to clipboard button over there. So we'll go copy to clipboard. Content is going to be this milliseconds, which is a number, which is fine. I'm going to import copy to clipboard, I believe, from fuzz. Copy to clipboard. I believe this is what it's called. Just a nice little helper we have. And what is the actual text? It's text, not content. Okay. And then that needs to be a string. So plus, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So you can see how it like, we can, if we type in that, we'll type in 0, we'll put in like a big number, say like 5, wait, yeah. So that's minutes, seconds, and then milliseconds. And then when, it's not adding the milliseconds because I actually am not handling in our time converter plus milliseconds. All right. So I'm glad I caught that bug. And it's actually called ms. Okay. Are we calling it milliseconds? Let's just call it ms. Actually, no, that's fine. This is obviously kind of a problem the way it's like laid out like that. I'm going to make this laid out better. So class is this is gonna be a row, and then this one will be oh, I actually don't have all my Flexbox utility classes yet, but actually I think I say flex1 and that should do it. Okay, cool. So we can now copy that. I probably want to do like make it absolute because like you see how it like bumped down the content. We actually don't care about it bumping content around. I mean, we don't want it to bump content around. So I think I'm gonna do what? I think I will just make it positioned absolute. So div class equals absolute. I think, can I just do right 0? I don't remember. I don't think this works yet, but basically my utility classes are like coming along still. So this will actually not be a row. It will remain a block. It will be relative though. And I might need to, yeah, I might need to be like, I'll say copy the clipboard, class equals copy, and then we'll just style it. So this is going to be positioned absolute, and then to the right 0 and top 0. And so that will basically put it there. I can move it slightly around, and then we'll also add padding to this inner. This isn't great, but like it's fine. So padding to the right is going to be like XL5 or more than that probably. But the idea is to offset it. Let's go to 7. And then the actual offset for this is going to be right is going to be, let's see, space small. Yeah, let's try small for bottom and right and top. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. It's basically centered. And notice like the copy is now like floating. So that's much better. This is in the label, which is probably fine, but actually we don't want that. It's like selecting. So we want to pull that out of the label. The label will end here. And then we'll just wrap this whole thing in what's called a time. Actually, no, we'll let the layout defer to the parents. We're not going to wrap any outer at the moment. We're not going to wrap it in an outer component. Although this is kind of buggy. So we will wrap it in an outer component, I think, just to make sure that there's no reason for you to ever have that bizarre layout. So now it's just a block component, and we'll add a class to it. So we can say class time converter in case you want to use that yourself. Okay. So basically like this is it. This is what I was like planning to do the whole time. I can go like 125. So what we'll do is like check our work, right? So let's pop over. I'm going to close this, put you to the side, open up our data. So let's go to our video data, and let's start putting in some YouTube values. So here we had 4624, right? Put that in, and we have this many milliseconds, and that's the same, isn't it? Right? Cool. Let's do extract fuzz blocks. So let's go to this link now and copy
in this programming session
something with hours, right? Okay, copy with hours, paste it in, and we have the same value. Well, off by a second because YouTube's being really weird with that, displaying 2 different times depending on things. Like if I refresh the page, it shows 22143. Let's go over here to my videos. 22144. You see? It's not me. It's not me. I'm precise over here. Precision. It's not me. All right. So we now have these new values. We can just pop them in, copy this. I'm like still manually copying because I'm not like thinking about it. But basically I can like pop this in, hit copy, and there's our number. All right, we did it. So the idea, I'm not sure if I explained this, but the idea behind having durations like in milliseconds, the whole point of this, right? Why not just copy the string like 105? Well, it's because having it as a number allows you to do all sorts of other displays with it, and also allows you to do calculations. Be like, hey, is this like more than an hour? Maybe you want to filter by videos between 30 minutes and 60 minutes or whatever. The point is that as a programmer, having durations in milliseconds like this gives us a ton of flexibility in the future. And now we have like a nice way to, we have our data declared as milliseconds, and we have a nice way to parse any sort of string we get from YouTube. There might be bugs in this, but honestly, like this is the exact sort of tool where like, who cares? If there's bugs, we will fix them as we run into those use cases. If you find a bug, please let me know. If you have improvements for it that you think would be cool, let me know. Obviously, I don't want to spend too much time on this more than I have to, but like if it's a legitimate like improvement, I think it would be cool. I likely made bugs here, but honestly, like there's no reason to review this code. It's so unimportant, I would say, right? Yeah, so it seems to be working, right? As far as I can tell. Yeah, it seems to be working. So yeah, just gonna add colons. Like if I add an extra colon, right, at the front, it just kind of discards it, right? So that's fine. That's actually, maybe we could support days in the future, but actually that's pretty complicated and confusing. So yeah, we have a tool, time converter. Yeah, we could pat ourselves on the back for that. I think one last thing I'll do is on the page, we'll put a breadcrumb at the top. So actually, let's use the exact same thing we do elsewhere. Let's just do a library footer. Sure, that works. Inside of here, we'll do a section around this, and then like that. And then we'll just put in this library footer and breadcrumb, which if we look at how we get that data, it's a little bit convoluted. I'll have to revisit that another day. But the idea is pretty simple. We're just getting some data and then using it. Actually, we need that. We need to parse our package data, and we're almost done. So that was a lot just to get a breadcrumb, but let's see, parse package meta needs to be imported from there. Okay, so from Grow. Some of this stuff will be changing in the future. So yeah, this is, so now basically like I have this like thing, we can click back, right? I want the header as well. So I'm gonna say like a section with like an H1, actually we'll just call it a header. And then the H1 will be tools. And then that can have a breadcrumb as well. So the margin bottom needs to be a lot bigger than that. Let's go to XL5 even or more. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So here's our website. We will now center you. So margin X is auto. Okay, so now we're centered. Our top, we need a margin top. Actually, let's do padding on the header. I think, does that make sense? Yeah, sure. Class equals PT XL. See how that looks. Maybe a little bit more. XL3. Yeah, sure. That looks pretty good. So the basic idea now is that we have actually, let's see how we're laying this out. That's XL3. Yeah, sure enough. Okay. And then in our tools, this margin bottom, we can actually change this. Instead of, we'll do class equals MY XL3. And then, yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is basically the same layout as what we have on the about page, which is way down here. Okay. So you see, if we go to /tools, we'll basically see the same layout. See that? So the header and the breadcrumb, although Vite is freaking out by that, but that's the point, right? So we can go back and forth. The spacing here is roughly the same. I mean, it's basically exactly the same. The difference is like, this is a lowercase thing, so it looks slightly different, and it's just different text. And then this shifts around vertically, horizontally, mainly because of the scroll bar, but also because about and tools are different widths. So here we go. We got tools, right? We have some tools. I can just type in numbers, time converter. I'm gonna say like paste in, like, yeah. I don't know if it needs any more explanation than that. Like, I'll just go ahead and say something, right? Like, so paste in a time. Actually, I'll add paragraph here in the label. So type paste or type in a time like code, and we'll say like 1, 2, 23, 45 dot 999 or any of the parts or any let's see, hours and minutes. Hours and minutes can be omitted. Actually, what's like the best way like to visually explain this? Paste or type in a time like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.999. Yeah, like is close enough. I'm going to keep that. It fits neatly on a single line. It doesn't make me have to, it doesn't stretch things out widthwise too much. So no reason to kind of fix that, I think. If I shrink down the page, I do kind of want to have a little bit of padding around our stuff. So our time converter, actually we'll go to the page and we'll just say here, we'll say padding X is going to be large. So now if we shrink down, it stays a little bit, off the edge of the page. Okay, so that seems pretty good. I think like we have added a nice little fun tool that feels good. I can now, whenever I go to YouTube and have one of these things, I don't have to like manually type it in. I can just go like that, copy my milliseconds, and we're good. I'm sure the UX could be improved, but yeah, I like this as it is. So I think I'm going to change one smaller tweak, just a tiny little thing. I'm going to say like, I think I can say text 2. Is that right? Yeah, cool. Okay. So I just like grade this out just ever so slightly. And why not make that bigger? So this is going to be here. Whoops. This div, we will actually make this class equals size XL. So large text, right? Why not have that be big, right? So there's our milliseconds. We can do, that's actually kind of a problem, right? So if it's, I did find a bug. Well, no, that's not right. It's multiplying by 1,000. Yep, I'm right. So if we put a dot, I'm wrong in my assumption that it's wrong, correct in the initial implementation. It doesn't change to milliseconds. I was just confused because I saw the same number as what I was typing in, but it actually had 3 zeros appended to it. All right. So this is like good. I think like I'm fine with this. I'm going to commit this code up. Actually, I forgot. We're going to actually create a new branch. We're going to say add time tool. We're also going to do something else in this pull request because I feel like I have plenty of juice to keep going to finish off my initial, the whole point of this video was actually not to just create this little time tool. It was to add the playlists to our data. So I'm going to go do that because why not? Just these long videos. I think the way people will be using this content, and please give me feedback if you have opinions, but I think the way people would prefer this content is just long videos that you can just kind of play in the background or just kind of like wash over you and not really think too much. And then 15-minute videos or whatever don't quite make as much sense with that sort of use case. So I think these long, hour and a half plus videos are just fine. But please let me know if you actually have opinions on this. So we're going to say add time tool. And we're just going to see if this passes CI. I think it will. I don't need to zoom in anymore, do I? No, we don't. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, and I think this is actually going to be this much, much simpler part of this. We're going to go to our videos, video data, and we're going to add to video item, we're actually going to add a channel abstraction. So we'll go to a new module called channel, even though we already have this. We'll import, so we'll say export interface channel. And here what we'll say is name URL. We'll also add videos. We'll also add playlists. And so here what we'll have is a playlist, which is going to be a type. So export type playlist, but actually that's just going to be a string. So we'll actually call this a flavored string, string of playlist. So what this lets us do is it won't be assigned to any other kind of string that is flavored. It will be assigned to regular strings just for convenience. So that's how that works. If that wasn't clear, we'll just see in practice. I use this all the time. So basic idea is I have this like routes video thing. This stuff will probably be extracted. So I'm just going to leave it to do many, probably extract, maybe to fuzz video question mark. I don't know, possibly. But this idea is that we have this video abstraction and we have this channel abstraction. And the video data is just something unique to this project. Video and channel will likely be upstreamed, is my guess. I think we will just leave them as they are right now. But I was thinking maybe I should put them in the lib directory, but I don't think I need to right now. So the idea here is that the channel name, actually that could be a flavored string as well. So that way we never accidentally compare like a channel name against a video name, for example. So channel name is going to be there. The URL is actually, I actually have a flavored, this is a little bit of a janky thing, but I actually have a thing for this, a flavor type. It's not in the right spot, but I need to fix that. That's another to do another time. So here, what we'll call this is a, we'll call this milliseconds. And that we can actually import from our time module over here. So actually, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to move our time, we're going to add video, and we're going to add channel all to the lib because it seems likely that in the future, I'm going to want to use this stuff. So over in, I'm going to collapse down node modules there. Over in time, we're actually going to export type milliseconds is going to be a flavored number called milliseconds. And actually we're going to type, we're actually going to call that ms because that's what we're just using everywhere. I know it's like maybe Microsoft, I don't know. I just want to go with, I say that. Let's go with the full. I don't want to be confusing. So we'll say milliseconds like that. Then this is going to be minutes. This is hours. And this is seconds. And then we'll just put milliseconds at the bottom here. Flavor gets imported, and we basically now have these hours, minutes, seconds. That way, it helps us not actually accidentally make mistakes when we're like passing around plain numbers. But it keeps things convenient. That's using flavored versus branded types. If you haven't heard of those, branded types are very similar, but branded types are a lot less ergonomic in the sense that you can't assign plain primitives to them. So flavored are my flavor of choice. And the basic idea now, if we look here, now it says, see, duration is milliseconds. So it's also some nice IntelliSense of like, what is this type? So it's helpful in a lot of ways. Video title, sure, why not? Give that a flavor type as well. Export type, video title. It's going to be flavored of string of video title, right? Thank you, Copilot. Pretty good at, once you sort of like get it trained up on the simple stuff, it can do simple stuff pretty well. Okay, so we're getting close. This doesn't need to be routes anymore. That's lib. Probably extract maybe to fuzz video. That's going to go to here as well. So all of these, this or fuzz or belt. Yeah, actually, Copilot guessed belts. Good job. Probably because I wrote that somewhere else. All right, so I'm going to remove the question marks so that if we search this, it shows up 3 times. That's what I wanted. All right, so we now have good types for everything. And now we can go ahead and use this channel data. So I'm actually going to create a new module called channel data, or maybe the video data should be channel data. Yeah, it's fine. I think I'll keep them separate for now, but I'm going to make a note in the video data to do maybe, yeah, I'm wondering if video data should just be channel data. Yeah, I don't see a reason to like separate it across modules right now. So I'm going to just copy paste this over to the new module, even though I could have moved it. That's fine. Our channel data now is going to be, so we're going to say export const channel is going to be channel data. And that's going to have these names. So oh, hey, look at that. YouTube @WebDevLadder. So we actually have two different channels, right? So we're actually going to do export const channels equals an array of channels. So there's WebDev Ladder and also WebDev Ladder VODs. If you've been watching, we're doing VODs right now. So this is WebDev Ladder underscore VODs. WebDev Ladder VODs is the URL. And playlists, there are no playlists for WebDev Ladder yet. There are multiple playlists for WebDev Ladder VODs at the moment. So we'll go over to VODs for that. Let's go to playlists so we can see them all at once. So let's just go ahead and write these out. We have fuzz blog, fuzz underscore blog. We have webdevladder.net. I'm probably going to organize these. I'm not sure exactly the order I want them in, but this is fine. Fuzz Mastodon is the next one. Fuzz Mastodon. And then the last one we'll call is EarBetter ear training app. Maybe that should just be EarBetter. I don't know. I'm just going to duplicate these exactly for right now, which is actually totally unnecessary. So maybe I'll just call this EarBetter over here. EarBetter ear training app. I don't know. I'll just call it EarBetter. That's fine. Just the name of the project. I might change it on YouTube. I might not. So this is our channel data. We need the channel type. So we're in channel here. This is going to be channel data. I think channel. I called them video items. Can call them channel items. A channel, because the channel is like is it video channel, right? Is that? I'm trying, because channels are a programming concept. I do not want to confuse people with that. So it's more like a video. It's like a YouTube channel. Let's just call it YouTube channel. Yeah. Let's call it a video channel. And then video channel name. Sure. Let's just be super verbose for now. I might change this. Just to do name. Don't want to be confusing with programming channels. Because like channels could be like, well, I say that. Yeah. I don't think we're going to have channels. That's like a Golang thing, and other programming languages have it. Let's just go with channel. And then video actually is a built-in. So video item could be like video whatever. I don't know. I don't like this name either, but I'm going to leave it to do. To do name video is taken, right? So if we do like type A equals video, that's already taken. Oh, wait, is that right? No, it's not. So video, audio, yeah, video's not taken. We'll just call them videos. Yeah, cool. It's fine. Video item, change to video. Okay. Yeah, that works. Sure. Why not? So now our channel data, we're going to import. It's just called a channel. Data is just something we append to it. Our items, so videos, it's going to be these and that. Okay, so actually, let's do this. No, I don't mind that. I don't mind having like these video items be like this, but you know, the question is like, what format should this be in? So I could be like, this is like the WebDev Ladder channel. So we'll do that. So export const WebDev Ladder channel is going to be this. And that's going to be satisfies channel. These will be satisfies video. So instead of declaring them as video, we could get like exact types this way, but actually it doesn't really matter for this case. We'll just do declarations directly. So instead of satisfies channel, we'll just say it's a channel. This is fine. We don't care about the actual hard-coded strings. So this is going to be now here, and then we'll say WebDev Ladder VODs channel is also going to be in this list. So let's see if Copilot can do it. Good job. All right, that was time saver. All right, so we now have our channels and our types all kind of declared. We can restart ESLint to make it not confuse. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some imports that are now broken because I was importing into video data. So where do we import video data? Here. That's going to be called channel data now. And we still have the same exports, but let's see. Actually, the videos, we don't need that anymore. So we're not going to actually export that. We're going to just do this. We're going to inline them, and you're going to have to import the whole channel data if you want them, which is fine. And while I say that, is it actually nicer to organize them? Yeah, I think I like the organizing them like this better, because like now our channels are actually way more readable. I like this better. So what we'll have is our page is gonna currently doing, let's see, project links, videos. So videos is where we get it all. Here, what we can do is, like, technically we probably want to have videos be like a reusable thing for like up here. So I'm just going to leave a note for that. That's not for today. So today to do extract to $lib and parameterize. So in other words, like we're just kind of like importing this data directly. That's like not good design if we want this component to be reusable. That should just be passed in data either directly as props or context, whatever, probably just props. So the basic idea is like this content. So we should be able to say like web dev ladder VODs channel is going to be dot description, or let's say a summary. And so let's go look at that. We're going to add a new property called summary right here, which is just this content. And we actually could do like raw HTML, but we won't. We'll just stick to what YouTube gives us actually. They do not give us raw HTML in fact for that. So I'm going to close a bunch of these. Whoops. Videos actually needs to stay open. We can go to our channel and add a summary property. Call that a channel summary. Just make that a flavored string so you can't accidentally compare like a summary to a name. Probably not ever going to happen, but like say you like take strings as a parameter to a function. If in the future you refactor to say swap channel name and summary in that function argument order, every place that you call that would just be accepted by TypeScript because they're strings in normal case. In our case now, we have these flavored strings. So if you ever kind of pass a name where you expect a summary, TypeScript will actually complain now because handling strings can be kind of error prone, especially once you get to more complex use cases. So we are going to, oh, we actually see we had a link in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say, I think I'll just put in raw HTML. So we're just going to say HTML, web dev ladder VODs channel. It's not the VODs, dot summary. And same with here. So this will be, and you can already start to squint and see how this is going to be able to be extracted into a standalone component. We can import the channel here. We're not going to be using these anymore. The videos will be accessed off of the, what do I have paste? Right. I need to paste over this summary to our data. So go to my channel data. We now have a summary. And this string is going to be raw HTML, which gives us more flexibility. Now, technically, we can make like a snippet or something. That might be interesting, but right now, raw HTML is fine. I'll leave a note about that to do, maybe accept a snippet. Okay. All right, so that's Svelte 5 snippets, which are just really great. So this is actually needs to be VODs, like that. We are fine. We're actually not going to export these anymore. So that's the small concession we'll make. We won't export these. So you will have to access them off of the channels, but this lets us define this data concisely and read it all at once rather than being interrupted by massive blocks of video data, which guaranteed will be growing into perpetuity. Unless, yeah, I expect to keep posting these VODs unless the worst happens. So whether or not I get views, like who cares? Like this is as much practice for me as it is content for the world. I'm not really expecting much of an audience for this stuff, but I very much enjoy it. I'm getting better at speaking. I'm getting better at explaining myself, basically putting in the reps to get better at communicating. All right, so we are getting close. Here, instead of underscore videos, we're going to say VODs channel dot videos, and that works. We also want to disable for this line. This is a ESLint rule to keep us safe. We are going to just disable that and put it here as well. So basically it just makes using @HTML gross, because now we have this ESLint override, which I usually don't have comments in the middle of my markup like this. This basically is like, hey, like, scary, don't do this with like untrusted user input or you'll get cross-site scripting attacks or worse. So that's what that is. We will probably extract all this to a library component, but meh, not right now. So if we go look at what we've done, we're at our tools page, go back here. Basically everything looks exactly the same, right? Like nothing changed. So that's a good thing, because basically we were just kind of laying out stuff. We now have much more sophisticated data structure for our channels. This is data driven now. So if we look at our videos component, none of this, actually, yeah, some of it is still. So this is good stuff. So we're gonna take this channel, right? And say the link, the URL for it is the URL. And the name of it is the name, .name. So here, same stuff, except it's WebDev Ladder VODs channel. So again, you can start seeing, hey, like we just extracted all of the hard-coded data out of this component. So we're getting to that point where this data, we could just have like an each, right, over all of our channels. And actually, why not do that, I think, right? That way we stay fully data-driven. Yeah, let's do it. So actually, I'm going to import, instead of these, we're going to import our channels. And we're going to say each channels as channel and put in the channel.name. And yeah, why not put in channel videos right here, or channel videos. Yeah. I said I was going to do this later. Let's just do it now. We're going to remove that to do. We're going to take in a prop. So interface prop is going to take in props is going to take in channels, which is going to be a channel array. And then our constant, can you do it? Good job, Copilot. So each one of our channels, we're going to import, we're going to have this channel videos dot svelte. So the section here is basically going to be that. We can copy paste this up, change it a little bit. Instead of channel, we'll take in a single channel. It's going to be like this, and then all of this just turns into channel. So you can see how fast this refactoring can go. I just removed our data dependency. This is going to be imported from lib. This video component is going to be imported from lib as well. We're going to move that video component over. And things might get a little bit funky with our imports, but that's all right. Channels is now a prop. Channel videos is going to be imported. So I need to import channel videos, no longer videos. The type will be from lib. This gets deleted. And now we need to restart ESLint because weird. And then we now can mount videos and pass in channels is going to be channels, I believe. Yep. All right. So over from routes. So our channels data is actually still from our routes. And the basic idea there is that routes has our project specific stuff, reusable stuff goes in lib, and eventually we plan to extract this stuff. So I'm just going to like kind of make a note here across all of these components to just kind of probably extract this out into a standalone helper library called fuzz video is my guess. Could be like fuzz, yeah, video makes sense. I'm trying to think like, oh, is it more broad? Is it like content? But like, we'll just stay with fuzz video probably. You got to scope it somewhere. The downside is if I decide to expand the scope in the future, it can be a mess. So we'll try to get that scope correct and sort of like what we want it to be on the first try. So let's go ahead and type check. I probably messed up some imports somewhere. Not a big deal. We'll fix them. Actually, wow. Copilot and VS Code were pretty good at with our Svelte tools. We're good at kind of updating all our imports, so we didn't have to worry about that. I'm going to now look here. The last thing I wanted to do was add the playlist support. So we've done a lot of refactoring and without literally any visible changes. But what we've done is sort of made this structure far more robust in how we are defining this data and can now manipulate and use it and reuse it. We have these reusable components now. I'm going to push up my code and we're just going to run check. I don't think anything's going to be wrong, but why not? Just be assured. Like linting as well. So we basically have all these components now, and the goal is for our videos, which is now channel videos. What we want to do is put stuff in playlists. That was kind of like the task that I had in front of me. So instead of just this like list of videos, I say that, but maybe this is actually a good stopping point because it's been a pretty long video and we've set up the data structures to then proceed by, putting out the playlist. One of the other things I want to do with those playlists is add nice logos, but I'm wondering if I'm kind of at the end of what this session's length should be. I don't even know how long OBS has been recording. Looks like an hour and a half. So actually, we're pretty close. Hour and a half isn't that long. I'm going to keep going. So here we go. Basically, the idea is that these playlists have names. And so let's go to our video data, which is here. Oh, and this is going to be a problem. We're going to call this video helpers and time help. We're just going to call it channel video. The problem is you can't actually name because of Windows stuff with TypeScript. It will have an error when we try to generate files between video and video helpers when we actually got to publish this stuff. So I'm just going to rename this to video helpers. This might be video info maybe is better, and this can say video. I think I kind of like that better. I don't know actually. It's one of these has to change though because because Microsoft's file system doesn't is not case sensitive, and so they bake that into TypeScript, which is somebody who tries to use Linux as much as possible, that is a very frustrating limitation because it was just fine before, but now, oh no, I'm wrong. It's if we reuse runes, so I can't have video.svelte.ts. That's what it is. So actually, this is fine, but if we ever use runes in here, we're gonna have problems. So it's fine for now, though. I forgot. It's you can't have video.svelte.ts and a video.svelte file. TypeScript's like, I don't know what to do with that. You're really confusing me. So can't do that. But because we're not using runes, we don't have that going. So I'm going to just restart my server. Should be fine. All right. So the basic idea is we have these channel data described, right? And what we want to do is take our... I'm just going to close everything else. We're going to take our playlists and render each one of those as a section. I'm wondering though, if we want to keep like maybe as a tab, the full list of videos. I think I won't for now, but that's like an interesting kind of follow-up. Maybe, so instead of just rendering the channels like this to do, maybe render a tab with all videos, and maybe for this channel, or even all channels in one list, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that could look like. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I think right now I'll have channel videos will actually be. We'll do many because it's kind of the same concept. Then we'll go over channel videos and do that as well. So the idea here is we're actually going to render each one of our playlists if there are any playlists. And then we're going to have videos without playlists. We're going to say const videos without playlists, and that's going to be, yeah, not quite. Good try, Copilot. So it's going to be channel.playlists.find, or sum. It's going to be sum, right? Videos without playlists, where the video playlists, it's channel. Copilot's like not helping me here. It's actually just slowing me down. Includes P. Wait, what am I saying? Sorry. Channel, we're saying filter the videos where some playlist is P, where we want to say we want to say actually, yeah, do we need to have the playlist? We didn't actually add our data yet. So here's our playlist, but we didn't actually say per video which playlist it has. So for each duration here, we actually want to add playlists as a array, because you might actually have the same video in more than one playlist. And we will just keep that as a plain array that might be empty. Whoops, we'll do say playlist. Actually, this should be playlist name, probably. We might actually need more data structure around the playlist, but for now, that's fine. Maybe this will refactor maybe refactor to an object with playlist name, question mark, maybe. Don't need it now, but that's definitely something that I'm looking at that. I'm like, yeah, that probably will change. So basically the idea is like, does this video, oh, no, the problem, the question is, yeah, this is the wrong question to ask. It's dot length. So not videos, or we can say video v.playlist.length is 0. So we're just saying, hey, if you have no videos, if this video, I was going too fast. If this video, and I didn't have my data structure set up, actually, that was the bigger problem. If this video, I didn't actually add per video playlist data. So if this video has no playlists, it's going to be in this array. And we're actually just going to, for each one of those, render it exactly as we have it. So this is going to be videos without a playlist, right? We might want to add like a H4 and then just say like videos without a playlist. And then below that, we will add for each playlist, so channel.playlist, look at that, good job. Actually, it's going to be playlist.name. Oh, we do want playlist to be a, yeah, we totally do. We actually want playlist to be a interface, and then playlist name will actually have a URL as well. So playlist is actually going to be a type of interface with a name string, which is a playlist name, and then a URL, which is just a URL. All right, so this is better. So now our playlists actually are these objects, and then that means over here when we define playlist here is actually going to be playlist name. So when we define playlist on the actual video, we have playlist names. But when we have playlist defined on the channel, right, these will actually be playlists. So does that make sense? We're going to have source of truth is like kind of minimized or is extracted down to the minimum. So these are the names of these playlists. We're going to add the URLs as well, because basically like every playlist on YouTube has a playlist name and URL. So we're just going to encode that data in our data structures. So we have these. We now need to grab our playlist URLs. So here's our first one for Fuzzblog. We can add URL for each one of these. URL, it's going to be some string. Fuzzblog is here. Just going to like looking at that. That is a crazy ID. List equals this. So let's go into that directly. I think I might have, let's see, view full playlist. That's what I actually wanted. Okay. So I had the wrong link. I was like going to a video within it. So we'll go view full playlist. Maybe I can just right click that. So this is coding my channel's website, webdeveladder.net. We can also add the summary, which actually I don't have. Can you edit those? Yeah, it looks like you can edit one on YouTube, but I might add, so like coding my channel's website, like that's like a summary, right? That we might want to put under. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do summary. So we're going to say underneath each one of these URLs, we'll have a summary. I'll come back in just a sec. So here's our Fuzz Mastodon link. Is that correct? No, it added the, no, it didn't. That's correct. Okay. I'm just confused by the layout. Now it's makes more sense when it's collapsed down after Prettier formats it. So we now have our links. We are now going to add our summaries. So summary is just going to be a string, and it's going to be super simple. So webdevladder.net is coding my channel's website. Coding my channel's website. Fuzzblog is going to be coding blog software from scratch. Coding blog software from scratch. This is more like taglines, but it's whatever. Mastodon library programming. Fuzz Mastodon. Mastodon library programming. Everything's kind of assumed to be Svelte kit and Svelte. So this is going to be ear trainer programming. We're not going to like ear training programming. Okay. So we have this looking good. We have our summary in our type. Do we want the, yeah, why not? We had it for our channel. Oh yeah, we said maybe accept a snippet. Sure, that works. And that's going to be here. So our playlist summary. We now wanted to come back to here, and now we have our playlist name. So this was like an error. This is where I kind of left off, and now we now have a non-error we can work with. Channel videos. Oh, it's not a problem. Basically, the idea is we want the name. So href equals, we can go ahead and add the URL with the name. That looks good. Copilot's doing a good job. And then for each one of the videos in the playlist. So here's a question of like, do we cache those videos on the playlist? Or like, let's go look at our data. Because like, that would be convenient, but like, notice here, let's go ahead and fix this because we don't want like circular data structures for one. I don't think like it's kind of unnecessary. I think we'll normalize our data. So what we do need to do though is move these names. Oh, we're actually going to refer to them by, yeah, we'll refer by name. That's where it's readable. So I need to basically add for each one of these. Extracting, yeah, this is creating my channel's blog. I'm just going to have to go through these. So 4 videos here. This is going to be coding. This is going to be coding blog software. So this is Fuzzblog. So the playlist for this is going to start with extracting Fuzzblog. We're in Fuzzblog. So basically I'm just adding the name for each playlist. Coding a blog creation library. This one, okay? Adding features to my blog software right here. And then finally, programming automatic Mastodon comments. Okay, so there's Fuzzblog's done. We're gonna go back, go into here, view full playlist for this. Webdevladder.net is gonna be right here. We start with creating my channel's blog right here. And then programming my channel's website. I didn't actually add that. Oh no, it's right here. So I'm curious why that's like number 2. I might need to change the sorting. I think that's why I was confused. The sorting seems off. Creating my channel's blog and adding Mastodon comments. Oh, it's because I did this in reverse order, I believe. Programming my channel's website. Yeah, that's right. This is correct. I think it is adding them in the correct order. Mastodon library programming, there's just 2 of these. Embedded Mastodon toots. Mastodon, Fuzz Mastodon, right here. This is my second video, it looks like, on the VODs. And then refactoring my messy Mastodon library. And then finally, we can do Svelte 5 refactoring in my ear trainer earbetter. So earbetter, do you only have 1 video? For some reason, I thought I had more. Okay, I only have 1 video for earbetter right now. So now earbetter is going to be this playlist. So I might have to edit the playlist later to kind of maybe some of these videos, like Fuzz Mastodon might actually belong in 2, but for now I'm just going to have VODs in a single playlist. Let me know if you have any feedback. I'd be happy to hear it. I'm just still kind of trying to figure stuff out now. I'll be trying lots of different things. So for each one of these playlists, we want to actually, that was not bad. We'll have an ordered list, but it's not quite this. So we're not gonna we're gonna look up. So we're gonna say look up videos for playlist, and then we're gonna say playlist.name. And actually that could just be filtered. So we could just like inline it here and just say like channel.videos.filter. And then that's v where v.name, or sorry, v.playlists.includes playlist.name. So this is like a lot to inline here. And that's why I was going to say like look up. So we'll do look up videos, look up playlist videos, or filter. Let's say filter. And then we'll say channel and playlist will be the names of that. So then over in our channel helpers, we can say export const lookup, or no, we said filter playlist videos. It's going to be like this, and then that's this one-liner. We can say channel, and we actually don't need, we'll just say videos like this. Actually, we'll extract this over to we don't need the actual channel, I don't think. So we'll move it over to video. Filter playlist videos. It'll import the type from channel, and then we'll import that helper. So we're making progress. We're pretty close. There is like one thing that I will want to add. So it's channel.videos. And yeah, I mean, it's this weird question of like, do you actually want to make this just take the channel? I constrain the interface more, so that's fine. It's a little bit easier to read this than what I had before. So now we have this playlist that's linkified. So let's just see what we got. Let's see what we're working with now. I'll refresh the page, and you can see how videos without a playlist, none. So actually, we will say if this.length, and actually we'll say like videos without playlist is obviously like a little bit of a tortured phrase. We'll just say like videos, right? And then this isn't totally great. We might actually just remove the header. Yeah, we'll just remove the header. And this is a question of like, is it going to be confusing if like those are put first, right, versus the playlists? Yeah, it's confusing, but like not really sure what the best layout for this is. I'll think about it later. This usually is the type of thing where like I'll figure it out over time. One thing, so actually just notice what we have, right? So here, web dev ladder, video number one, right? Web dev ladder VODs into playlists, right? So we start with web dev ladder, then fuzz blog, fuzz mastodon, better. I kind of like the idea of putting other videos last, ? Let's do that. So in case we ever have other videos, they'll just kind of show up last rather than first. I think I like that better because they'll probably just be like one-offs. I would rather people probably, at least with this current layout, right? This is a very sort of like whatever kind of layout. Not really too concerned about making it perfect right now. Really, it's about structuring our information. So this is a lot more readable than just having a list of 9 videos. We now have them organized by the playlist. So this looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and commit it. There is one last thing I wanted to do though that could really elevate what we're doing here. And so that's going to be the logo for each one of these channels. Each one of these playlists. And actually channels as well. So we want to basically have a logos component. So I'm trying to think about, this is going to be pretty generic now that I'm thinking about it. So we want to make like reusable components where we are allowing you to use reusable like data. And the question is then how do we show, say, like the Web Dev Ladder logo? Like it's super easy to just like hard code that, but we're actually going to have to pass that down else some other way. So the way that will work is we're going to take names of channel names and playlist names. So this is a channel name, this is a playlist name. And I'm going to just copy all of these names here for these two. Yeah, because there's no playlist for that. So here's all our names. And what we're going to do is create a new component called, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Close that. We're going to add a new component called logos.svelte. And here we're going to, yeah, that's not correct, but some of the boilerplate's fine. What we're going to do is add name, just a string. Actually, yeah, name is just a string, so it's going to be a singular lowercase string. So thank you there very much. VS Code, we never use uppercase string. Channel, we're going to import like the Web Dev Ladder logo. It's one of them. I'm going to have to do an if statement on all of these. So if we're going to say if name, this is going to be name. If name, actually wait, instead of that, we're going to say const logo component is going to be derived from, why did it do dollar? Okay, I need to like fix this so it stops auto-completing badly. What's going on? Why are you freaking out so badly? Tools. Oh, maybe that's me right there. Derived, and then we'll say name equals this. Yeah. We can just do this. We can say like logo components to the name. Okay. And then we'll say like logo components is actually going to be a record of, it's not Svelte component anymore. It's just, I believe, component. So let's go import. Oh, it's lang equals ts. That's the problem. Lang equals ts. That would explain it. So it's not, that's why I got the capital S, because there is no lowercase s in as a identifier in. So that was obviously my fault. I blamed VS Code. So it goes. VS Code can take it. So here's our component, and basically we just need to mount it. So we're gonna say svelte :component, and we say this equals logo component, and that will be only if it can find one. So only if it can find one, we'll do that. Otherwise, nothing. Just nothing. And this is gonna be a svelte component or null. And actually, that's not svelte component. That's just component, I believe. It might take me. I need to look this stuff up. But the basic idea is like this is going to be reusable, is how I'm going with it. So we'll actually move that over to logos. This could be probably more generic because it's actually not doing very much. It's more like, just looking up into a map of names of strings. So it could be like components and then like key, right? I'm calling it logos. Be like component map, right, or whatever. It really doesn't need. I'm kind of over engineering it. Like this component isn't technically necessary. This is actually more just like a some copy pasted code to another spot. Like I'm trying to think. Like logos. Yeah, because like wherever this, we're actually going to keep this in routes, and we're just going to do. We're actually not going to take in the name here. Yeah, we're going to do this is the simple way. So we're going to say import, like I was doing. I was going to say import Web Dev Ladder logo from there. We're also going to import the Web Dev Ladder VODs logo, which is actually just the same one. We're also going to import fuzz logo as well. as well as what else we got? We got fuzz, web dev ladder, fuzz blog, which is the same, fuzz, and then earbetter. So we actually have the earbetter logo, I believe, as well. Earbetter logo. Oh, and these are actually going to need some different props. So I could just do it generically, or I could do it, I'm just going to do this the fun way. So we're actually going to call this either a channel name, or a playlist name. This is super hacky, but like whatever. Going generic really doesn't help very much. So we're just going to do this. We're going to say if logo, I don't want to like make this overly abstract. So I'm going to not be super clever with this. We're going to say if name is going to be equal to web dev ladder. We want the web dev ladder. Oh, did it just give me a decent starting point? It did. If it's web dev ladder or name is webdevladder.net. So that's a playlist and that works too. So we're going to import these types. Don't need the component type anymore because we're not going to get that clever. We can restart ESLint so we make the errors go away. Our logo for fuzz is this. Now we also have Mastodon. Oops, need to do this. We have fuzz Mastodon and fuzz blog as well. So we will do fuzz underscore blog, fuzz underscore Mastodon. And we could like do this generically where you pass in props. I'm not too worried about it. I'm actually going to give this a size, and maybe that will be a prop. But for now, we'll just say class equals, or rather size. We'll do size up here, actually. We'll just pass it directly rather than giving it a wrapper, I think. No, we'll do this. We'll do icon size XL. And this, I don't really care right now. We'll just hard code to do probably, no, we do want to not hard code this. So we'll do size as a string. Size is a string that's optional. And the default size will be var icon size XL. And then we'll just pass this down to all of our components. A little verbose, but like it's all good. So right here, we just pass down size. And that will give us, we don't want icon size actually XL. We want probably large is my guess. Is the default. We'll see. So we have earbetter. We have 3 different fuzzes. We actually want to do fill equals and then get our fill for those. So this is different fill. So blog is going to be what? If we go to fuzz blog, and these colors are actually going to change, but over to Moss, I just need to refresh myself like which color this is. These are going to change. These are actually not working for dark mode correctly. So this like, yeah, color E5. So E is going to be, so var -- color E5. This is going to change, but it's fine for now. Actually, I'm going to hard code the values. This is going to be better because this will be more future proof with what I want to do. And then that's fuzz Mastodon, so I misdid that here. Fuzz Mastodon's purple, I remember. And right there. Earbetter actually has no fill, so that's it. So fuzz has a no fill. WebDev ladder. WebDev ladder VODs does have a fill, so we will do that next. This else is in the way. Okay. So it's going to be WebDev ladder underscore VODs. And then that fill is going to be brown, which is right here. Okay. So I believe we are looking good. We haven't used this logos component at all, notice. So we will do that in our videos, I believe. So channel videos, each channel, actually, we want it here. So next to videos, I think to the right, maybe to the left, I don't know. We might have to play with this, but basically the idea is like logo. Let's just change this from logos to logo. And the idea is like name equals channel.name. Pretty simple. And then logo gets imported from routes. So that's a problem, right? I'm just going to put it here for now. To do, make generic. This is fine. To do, make generic before, so we can extract to fuzz video. It's fine. This should just be data driven anyway, but then you have to do props and type it. I don't want to deal with that right now. It's not that hard. Maybe in a follow-up video, or maybe I'll just do it when I have some free time or want some downtime. It's a pretty easy thing to do. It's not really worth making a video of, but then again, maybe nothing's worth making a video of, and all of it's worth making a video of. So who knows? It's all good. All right. So this actually, you see, I misspoke right here. This doesn't actually go here. Channel videos is where the channels get mounted. So here's what I meant to do. So this channel name, let's just put it in there, I think, for now, and just see. I'm not sure what that is going to look like, but the styling might be way off. And then we can also add the logo for the playlist. So each playlist down here, we have, right here. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Okay, so this logo outside of the link, playlist.name. All right, so let's just see what happens. I kind of expect things to have some graphics now. Yep, graphics. We're good. We don't have a Earbetter logo, sadly. Let's go look at that. We should definitely have one of those. Earbetter was capitalized is why. And there we are. All right, so that looks pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is think about smaller sizes of screens. A little bit tricky. I'm thinking about layout. I'm not really sure how I want to lay these out right now. I really don't want to spend too much more time on this. So I think what I'll do is, good question. I don't know. Because I don't want to crunch screens, but that text should shrink down anyway. You see how that gets rolled off screen? So maybe I don't want to mess with responsive design right now. It's just kind of fine to have it. I think putting it on the same line would be a problem. This is barely a problem for some screens, like boom, right there. But that is a problem. I can add, I should probably just bite the bullet and do a responsive thing, but I'm just trying to think where does it actually belong and go? Where do I want it? I think maybe just above is actually going to give us a better, maybe we'll just swap it. Well, I'm sure we'll revisit this in the future. So I'm actually going to pull it outside of, I'll put it inside the H3. I think, outside, inside. I honestly don't know. Yeah, there's just too many decisions to make about layout here that I'm not really interested in. I was just kind of wanting to get some graphics on screen so you can kind of see the differences here. Yeah, I think what I'll do is just add a little bit of padding and call it done. So the logo, we can now we'll add classes to the API probably, or maybe not even that. We'll say class equals margin bottom large, and that is done. We'll add a to do format these logos, responsive design. Basically, we should use our screen real estate in on desktop, but then shrink down to something more usable for mobile. For now, that actually looks pretty good, right? It's not great. I don't love it, but it works. It's serviceable. You could put the text to the right, especially on desktop, which probably I should. Let's just do that. So this is H3s and H4s. Let's just do it. You'll get to see a tiny bit of responsive design. So we'll say media max width. And then I'm not sure what that's going to be, but then we'll say logo. We'll say title. Is it no, not title. Maybe header is better. So we'll add a header to each one of these, and we'll take the H3 actually out of it. So the logo is actually outside of the header. Same with this. So we'll add header element. We'll put the logo outside of the H4 on that one. So our headers then are going to be styled a little bit differently. So we're going to say on header, this is going to be display flex. Actually, we'll just call that a box. No, we'll do it like this. We'll do it a little bit more structured. So display flex, flex direction row is default. Let's just keep that like that. Actually, we can say flex wrap. Flex wrap. Wrap, that will take it to the next line if it has to. We might not even need the responsive design. Let me just see. So instead of the margin bottom, we can go, well, actually that's fine. But we will change this to class logo wrapper. And we'll just do it like this. So logo wrapper, margin right and bottom. We'll do like var space of large, and then on the bottom we'll do var space of like medium, maybe. Doesn't need to be that spaced out. Actually, let's go small or even extra small. Yeah, that looks better to me. So we will do align items center on the headers. So now our headers, you can see, we will actually want to remove the margins on our H3. So this is what kind of H3 and H4, we're going to say margin 0. And so now these are like centered. And if I go like this and shrink it, it wraps to the next line. And then actually, when we wrap to the next line, we probably do want to add a margin bottom on these, or the whole, well, on the whole header actually. So this thing, this logo wrapper, should not have a margin bottom. Instead, the whole header should. So that would give us a better layout. And then that looks fine. It's a little bit crunched in with the logo. So you can see basically we just like kind of left aligned the icons because they're all a fixed width. And then we can actually make these bigger. I kind of like that. So instead of these top logos will actually be size is going to be var icon size XL, right? So now our channel icon sizes, whoops, I forgot the dash. Our channel icon sizes are bigger, right? So channels now, right, stand out compared to playlists. So playlist icons are much smaller. Channels are very large. Maybe I should shrink that down. Doesn't really matter to me right now. The padding here is not great. So I'm going to add padding around although is that going to break it on the bottom? Yes. So I'm going to add, let me think. What is the right way to fix that? Because like I don't know when it's going to flow. I don't want to set a breakpoint if I don't have to. Because like notice I didn't have to use responsive design at all. It's responsive by just like wrapping, basically is what I mean. So it is responsive, but like not in that sense. These do need to shrink down as well for small screens. It starts getting scroll bars around 360 pixels. I try to go to 2. Oh, but that's up here. So these links are actually just kind of busted everywhere. I'm not going to fix that today. These links actually need like break on them, word break, which is gross, but like necessary, sadly. I'm not going to worry about it because it's actually, the problem is caused way up here because of this giant link, I believe. So if we look there, yeah, you see like right there, this web dev ladder at mastodon.social is actually what's causing that to be wrapped badly. So it's fine. I'm not too worried about it right now. But I do want to fix just slightly this padding problem. I think the idea is that I will just add, do I want to add just like a little bit of top padding, I guess? But is that going to offset things badly? Yeah, this is like not a big deal. It looks fine. Let me see, the OLs, actually going to give those sections. So I'm going to space these out a little bit from each other. I want to change this header. That block quote actually belongs in the header right here. Yep. And then do we have playlist summary? Did we do that playlist? We do. So let's do that. Let's add this. Did I add it? Did I do it already though? No, I didn't. Interesting. Okay. Must have been somewhere else. So playlist, or maybe it was a casualty of me moving stuff around too fast. I don't know. So the basic idea now is that like we have these playlists. The block quote here, this margin actually should be margin top, I think. Margin top is 0, and then margin bottom is going to be like space large. And that gives us around this, let me see, this H1. I think that's, am I getting this wrong? Because like when it wraps, yeah, I got it wrong. We will give it margin top. Actually, let's go margin. It's going to be this and 0. So now we have, when it wraps, it has some margin around it, right? That looks better. We also actually just need to have the, let's do medium. And it's only going to be the top. Bottom's going to be 0 still, like this. And then the block quote needs to be a margin top of, margin top of medium, I think. Let's just see what that looks like. So now this is spaced around a little bit, right? When we wrap, it still all looks fine. We're spaced apart from the icon. We didn't have to use any breakpoints, which is really nice. We can add to our header some extra spacing. So I think, or rather, let me see here. This is our playlist block. Those also have headers. But, so maybe instead of this header margin bottom, we actually want to do the first header has margin bottom of like XL3, and then the second headers have a much smaller, let's just say, was even, yeah, so like basically this header now has a fairly large spacing between it and whatever its content is. Same with here. And then these headers inside the playlists have a much smaller padding, and actually even smaller than that. Let's go to small. I'm not sure why my it must be a svelte thing. Actually, large, to kind of get evenly spaced from here to evenly spaced to each one of those items. So I think we're looking pretty good. I know I'm moving really fast, just trying to get this done. I think we didn't have to go responsive, although there's some other issues. We will come back to that. And this block quote obviously should not be wrapping like that. So we want to, maybe if we just set like width class equals width 100, will that fix it? Will that keep our block quotes? Yeah, that keeps our block quotes from wrapping to the previous line. That's kind of a hack, but like whatever. Did I already have block quotes down here? I did. So let's just do this. We're going to add width 100% to those. That will keeps them from being hack. Let's say to do hack that keeps them on their own line. Okay, not my favorite choice, but for something this small, adding a to do and then coming back to it later, because there's going to be other changes on this too. If we just kind of take stock of what we've got, there's one last thing I wanted to do, I suppose. I think I wanted to, between these elements, between these playlists rather, I want, well, we are running out of screen real estate. Between these playlists, we actually want to put them in a section each. So each playlist here, we will wrap in a section. And that gives us this as well in a section. So section around you. Okay, in there. Okay, so now we should have pretty good spacing between everything. I do I should go back. Actually, this XL3 should actually be XL9. Give us like the full, 7 I mean. Give us the full sort of spacing between sections, right? So this spacing is the same as this spacing now. We probably want to add additional spacing between our channels. And the way we can do that is by adding an HR. I think we'll just do this. I think, is that what I want to do? Maybe it's fine. Maybe that's something we can do in the future. Basically, like the question is like, what's between these two? This spacing should be more, which we could just do with spacing here. So like this class equals channel videos, and we can add a, let me see, we want to add margin bottom. Yeah, basically like we want to say like just this one, we want to add additional margin around it because we don't want it at the bottom either. So this looks pretty good actually. And yeah, the only thing I don't love is like this spacing right here. We could like add like an HR between them. I'm not sure if that would look any good, but you know, maybe that's just something for the future. I might change the layout quite a bit. These might all be in their individual panels, in fact, which would just change the calculus completely. This spacing, this padding looks a little funky to me. It might be the last thing I fix. We look padding left and right is XL3. Maybe that's okay, but it looks it's like a lot. I think we did pretty well. I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom out, make sure we get full screen right here, right? We now have our videos. You can scroll down, you can see Web Dev Ladder is technical videos about real world topics. I might want to actually put these, yeah, I think I like that. We're just going to do one little tweak. We're going to move these block quotes in with the title. So that's going to actually require me moving some stuff around just slightly. So inside, we have the logo wrapper. We're going to remove that block quote with 100% hack, which not actually needed, turns out. I'm going to move those block quotes into a wrapper with so I'm going to need an extra div wrapper just around the H3s and H4s. And then I might keep this margin the same. So let's just do this really fast. I'm going to add a div wrapper. We can say logo label and wrap both the block quote and the H3 in those. Same with here. So we're going to say div around them and call that like just a logo label. And so that's not the best name, but like it's fine. And the idea behind that is that this is now a we can flex. We'll go to the styles for that. So we have logo wrapper. Now we have logo label. It's going to be flex 1. And the idea is that it now, you can see, puts the block quote right under. So we have a much nicer layout of title and icon and description. It should be, I'm not sure if it's perfectly responsive. We're still, again, like this is running over obviously, but so is, this is what actually is causing our problem right here. I think I can actually say like to here. Oh, maybe not. I was gonna say, I think I can like override that. Oh, this may be. Logo label is like width 100% or max. Yeah, so see how that actually made it wrap? Max width 100%. So we'll add that to the logo label, max width 100%. And just double check everything kind of looks right and works. You see how it wraps now. We still have the scroll bar because of way up there. These links are just kind of annoying, and maybe the answer is just like shrink this padding on these panels. This like padding XL3 is a little bit out of control. I'm just gonna look at that really fast over here. Yeah. these two panels, let's just go down to XL. And that means all padding is going to be XL. So it's just PXL. Same with here, PXL. Okay. So that like changed some of the layout stuff, but it also gives us more pixels to work with. Like we don't get a scroll bar now till 350. So it saved us like, 10, 15 pixels of before we get scroll bars. But no scroll bars down here. I think I kind of like the layout now. We now have the layout looks pretty good even when it's wrapped, which is what we want. The icon always is first, and then you might wrap down to show content below. It's going to be responsive just automatically. We don't actually have like a hard breakpoint anywhere. It's just kind of like whatever fits, which is often preferable. We can just double check that all of our links work, and we're getting super close to the end. Yeah, I think we got our links to our playlist working, links to our videos working. Okay. So, and we can probably call this just about done. So the way we'll finish this up, I'm going to push this up and run a checker. We'll go over to our the GitHub pull request, which I will link in the description if you're interested in actually looking at the actual code. When this is finished, I think I'm pretty confident it's going to pass CI. So I'm basically just going to merge this over. I say I'm confident. I'm going to let it finish CI. Well, no, because it will fix. I just ran it myself, so I'm gonna merge it. It's unlikely to fail. I also meant to add time tool, playlist interfaces, playlist in channel interfaces, and display playlists. So now we have a full description. Add time tool. Add time tool, playlist and channel interfaces, and display playlist. Create whatever. Actually, create time tool, add playlist and channel types, let's call that, and display playlists. Okay. Display videos in playlists. Display videos in playlists. Okay. So we got it merged. You can pull it down. I can run deploy. And we will go ahead and just wait for this to finish while I wrap up. So if I go over to webdevladder.net, I should be able to click the link. This is what it currently looks like before we have our stuff deployed. You can see we went from we had 7 just kind of videos in a single list. We had no /tools, but we're about to see what happens when we refresh the page once this is finished deploying. We can see this yellow pending mark. When this is done, I'm going to refresh the page, and we will see our handiwork. We should see our logos. We created a time tool where we can just copy paste from YouTube. So whenever we have like a video, say, we can just kind of copy that amount. I'm just getting recommended all the programmer content. My hair will never look that good. So basically the idea is that I should be able to refresh, and it's there. We have WebDevLadder. We have WebDevLadder VODs. We have nice logos, so you can see what you're looking at. We have playlist, webdevladder.net, Fuzzblog. This isn't super clear to me that like I'm looking at playlists, so maybe we need a little bit more styling, structure, maybe text label. There's so much text on screen already that I'm hesitant to say we should do labels. But then we can click tools. We can like paste in like 123, which that many milliseconds, and that's about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.